Hop on in, sailors. The water's warm. It's a fresh drop. Paste and go. God, that bronzer, man. He's just not doing it right. Okay. Let's watch this. Then we're gonna watch the Elephant Graveyard. Did a video about Joe Rogan. I don't know how far we're gonna get tonight, but we're gonna do that, and then maybe like that might be it. Late night between me getting on late and the dual casting thing that I had to figure out. It's late night.
Sometimes I genuinely don't know if Trump is being utterly clueless or strangely dishonest. Because obviously
It's both. It's always
a
both.
pathological liar. Okay.
Yeah,
But
he lies about everything.
there are
And
times
he's
where
also
he
just
says things, and the look
dumb.
in his eye, it's sort of, do you really not remember that you're contradicting yourself right now? What is going on? And I want to show you that. First, before showing you the interview moment, here's the thing that he's going to deny having said, which is during one of his pressers, he talked about huge cuts to defense spending. Okay, and then he'll go on to say, what? No, I never said that. What? What do you believe on this, though? Just say are you intending on that or not? We don't know.
You see one giant summit with you, Xi Jinping, and Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, I could see that. Let things calm down a little bit. You know, when I left, we had no Middle East problem. We had no Russia going into Ukraine. They never would have done it. Putin never would have done it. And I came back and we got like the whole world is blowing up. So when we straighten it all out, then I want to have one of the first meetings I want to have is with President Xi of China, President Putin of Russia. And I want to say, let's cut our military budget in half. And we can do that.
In half, all right? So there it is. Statement clear. And we talked yesterday about a Maria Bartiromo interview with Trump. I'm sure you've seen maybe that segment and then also other clips floating around about this interview. But we're really going to do a deep dive because it was bonkers. So stick around for that. Here's the moment where he acts like he never said that.
You said you wanted to do the Golden Dome. You've got a lot of ideas for America. But then earlier you said you wanted to cut $1 trillion in defense spending, right?
I didn't say I was.
You did not get. So I was
said-
like, which is it? Are you cutting defense spending or are you
I
building
said
us up?
I never said defense. spending.
Okay, because I think you were talking about denuclearization,
Correct.
and that's where the cutting of
Correct.
the spending
Oh, okay.
came in.
I never said cut. No, it's not in these days.
I never said cut. I never said cut. I never said cut.
And I want to say, let's cut our military budget.
Okay. I mean, I don't know where everyone's going to stand on that. I personally call me
Sorry, I mean,
a
if this is
military
it, I'm
industrial
not
complex
that
person or something, but
interested
I
in
don't
this
think we
interview.
should. I love taking credit for the stock market. I don't even look at the stock market.
You may get it again.
Better way to articulate that. Because there's something really frightening going
Yeah,
on.
sorry, this video is not doing it for me. Dan don't like. Luke takes very long to draw out his videos, and I know that's a lot coming from my dumbass. Like, it's funny, you got like 3 tiers of like video size. You got Damage Report, which is like 5 to 10 minutes, Adam Mockler, which is 10 to 15, and then Luke, which is 15 to 20. I want to see how Elon ruined this vet's life. Because he probably did. He's ruined so many lives in the last month and a half. Fucking monster.
I'm Eric Rodriguez. I'm a disabled Iraq war veteran. A VA worker, a proud SEIU union steward representing Illinois.
Good man.
I proudly serve my country, and now I proudly serve my fellow veterans. But right now, the Trump administration is trying to cut the VA. Frontline workers and let billionaires steal our health care. Veterans, we are under attack. Last week, 1,400 workers got fired illegally. 22 of them were my colleagues at at Hines VA Hospital. Some of them didn't even get a real notice. All they got was this, an email with X's where the date should be and no name.
Imagine serving your country on the front lines and then coming back to further serve your country in the civil service, and you don't even get a notice. You just get a letter with X's where the date should be and no name. It's not coming from anyone in particular, but you know that Elon Musk is behind it. The absolute disrespect that Donald Trump and Musk have shown our veterans thus far is insane, and it just keeps getting worse. They are indiscriminately firing thousands of VA workers and veterans, and when they say they're trying to cut out fraud, waste, and abuse, that means they think our veterans are wasteful. They don't belong to be working in our government. Either way, let's continue watching disabled combat veteran and VA worker Eric Rodriguez breaking down his experience getting fired.
That's how little they think of people and our veterans in this country and that serve our country. They're slashing staff, crushing unions, and selling out the VA for what? So billionaires can make more money while veterans sit on wait lists. Worse, they'll get no treatment. Our president was asleep while Musk was at the wheel. Do you know what happens to a service member when they fall asleep when they're on duty? Veterans don't trust him. He's not one of us. We're not about to sit back and take the SEIU. We're fighting back. We're organizing and we're taking action.
Good man.
We're not going to back down. On the south side of Chicago, we stand on business. It's time for you to do the same. We've done our duty. Now we're asking the administration and Republicans to do theirs. We serve this country. We know how to take it. Take the fight to them. And we know how to win. Thank you.
Very, very well said from Eric Rodriguez, and he's saying, hey, we fought for our country. Now is not the time to stop fighting when we've made it this far and when we can double down and bring it home. Now keep watching because I want to play another clip of a veteran on MSNBC slamming Musk and Doge. Check this out.
This is a president who campaigned on protecting, cherishing, valuing veterans. There's been no such consideration given to veterans within the federal government.
That's exactly right. They're saying one thing and doing another. And you ask me how I'm doing, I'm pissed off. And veterans around this country are pissed off, and Americans around this country are pissed off because it's like every day we're getting another body blow to the soul of America. And here we have not even a public announcement, but a leaked memo that the new VA secretary, who's a pretty radical guy, is now going to lay off 83,000 people at the VA. 25% of them are veterans. Meanwhile, as you cut into the federal government, 1/3 of all of those cuts are veterans. We got the unemployment rate down in the beginning of the year to just over 4%, historic low. We've been fighting for 20 years to get the veterans' unemployment rate down. This is going to blow it up. And that's the actual effect.
It's fucking
of what
bullshit.
they are
There's literally
doing
no
will
reason.
have. No matter what
Like-
they say, watch what they're doing. And right now,
Like, there's the Trump administration could have actually gone after government in a way that it's so dumb and hateful. They're just saying we hate you because you're a federal worker. Because the thing is there's a smart way to do this. It's a sinister and malicious way, but it's basically convert them. Convert all the vet employees to your cause. Be like you've served and these people haven't. Now it's time to serve real America type shit. Do that. They could have converted so many Fed employees to their side. Yes, I think we're back. God damn. In a way that, like, it's so dumb and hateful. They're just saying, like, we hate you because you're a federal worker. Because the thing is, like, there's a smart way to do this. It's a sinister and malicious way, but it's like, basically, like, convert them. Convert all the vet employees to your cause. Be like, you've served and these people haven't. Like, now it's time to serve real America type shit. Like, do that. Like, they could have converted so many Fed employees to their side by, like, doing what they did to the country, but to the federal employees. Instead, they've nuked hundreds of thousands of jobs, aiming for they're aiming for 1 million employees gone, which is, again, malicious and insane. But they're just blindly getting rid of all these people, and instead they've been unifying them. Like, where before, like, the people that were like, yeah, I want you to get rid of the bad employees, not me, I'm loyal to Trump, they got fired, and they're like, oh no, I guess I really did have solidarity with my fellow laborers in the federal government and didn't realize it. And the ones that are left are like, yeah, no, fuck these guys. There's none of them are on the side of the Trump administration. Like, it's ridiculous. It's bullshit.
The flamethrower that is Doge and Elon Musk is coming straight for the VA.
Is there blowback? Obviously, there's blowback from veterans who've been
Is there
fired. What
blowback?
about
Yeah, no shit.
families of veterans, people who voted for Donald Trump in veterans communities? What have you been seeing?
Yeah, I'm seeing it come from all sides. And where I've really been seeing it come from is inside the VA for the last couple of months. They're demoralized. They feel beaten down. There's no clarity. There's no certainty. Everybody's waiting for the Doge guillotine to drop and get an email in the middle of the night to find out that they're fired. These are people who are disabled veterans. These are people who've honorably served their country.
It's insane.
And want to
Like,
continue to serve their
and
country.
the fact that
But they're
Fox
also
News is
fighters.
still trying to spin
And I've
this in
said
his
before,
favors.
I think they're making a bit of
Like,
a
again, Fox
miscalculation because
Fox
veterans are
hates
fighting back.
Americans.
They're going to be protests
Just
starting
does.
as early as next week. We're recruiting independent veterans who've been laid off and fired to run for office this year. We've gotten over 200 of them already that are interested. And we're going to organize like we always do. We're going to fight back for what is sacred. And I think we're going to be a lead element for this entire country, not just for veterans, but for teachers and everybody else who needs fighters right now.
Very well said. This is what democracy looks like. People mobilizing. Check out this clip of Raphael Warnock talking about the same thing.
On veterans, on federal workers, on our public health care infrastructure, on the ability of kids to get through K through 12th grade, the work that's done by the Department of Education, the CFPB, which provides protection to consumers, all of the things that we're counting on to protect us and have people have a path to prosperity. They're taking all of those things away. I think it's important to acknowledge that, but also it's important to acknowledge why they're doing it, because that's just as important. Why are they doing it? To pass a tax cut for the wealthiest people in America. I mean the wealthiest of the wealthy are the ones who will benefit.
It's not
by
even a
and
tax
large
cut.
from
It's
this tax cut.
It's a consolidation
And, oh, by
of
the
power
way,
for our new
they're
kings.
putting a $4
I totally fucking
trillion
forgot to record this
hole
half. Fuck me,
in
I'm
the
stupid.
deficit, even as they do it.
I just want to end this off by saying playing with veterans in the VA should be no joke. I mean, in any normal world, this would tank Trump's approval rating. And I think we're going to start to see that as veterans and their family members are affected. We see this article. The Trump admin plans to cut 80,000 employees from the VA, according to an internal memo. And this came out just 2 days ago. So this is yet to happen. As it happens, we're getting more reports that, quote, it's like a blitz attack. Veterans Affairs mental health experts liken Elon Musk's constant emails asking people to resign and to get the hell out of there to warfare, or at least for veterans who have been to war and don't like the unpredictability of being just constantly hammered home with emails, it's probably not great for their mental health. Elon Musk has called his, quote, what did you do last week emails a pulse check, which in and of itself
It's
is pretty
fucking
offensive.
insane
He's saying that
and
most of our
insulting.
federal workers basically don't even have a pulse, or at least they're not effective enough to. Quote, do you have a pulse and 2 neurons? Elon Musk said to laughter at a White House cabinet meeting regarding civil workers. Some mental health professionals with the Veterans Health Administration do not find it funny. They liken the email campaign, the constant, non-stop emails from Elon Musk, to a type of psychological warfare, like a blitz attack. And it's kind of the strategy they use when it comes to the media. Overwhelm the media with so much BS, a blitz attack until they just are overwhelmed. It's a strategy they're taking when it comes to dismantling our institutions. go so quickly and do it in such a fast-paced way that it's like a blitzkrieg. People can't keep up, and for veterans in particular, it just happens to be very bad for their mental health. But anybody who gets fired randomly, even if you're a probationary worker or if you've been working there for 20 years, you want some sort of stability, and Donald Trump is taking that away. He's taking away stability from American citizens, but also from America on the global stage. We are no longer a stable, predictable ally, and American citizens knew this would happen. I mean, everybody went through the first 4 years of Trump, and people voted for it again.
Yeah, it's like the man literally said, "I have concepts of a plan, like about healthcare," and it's like, dude, no, you had basically a decade to figure out a plan, and it's a very simple one. It's just tax the wealthy and remove middlemen from healthcare. Instead, he was like, "No, I'm just gonna get rid of Medicaid." Like, the fuck. All right, let's watch the Elephant Graveyard. Now, these guys are very interesting. If this is just a clip episode, I'm not gonna watch it. But he's done some teardowns of like Tony Hinchcliffe and his fucking guys, Lucas, that fat fuck on his team, and I like revolvers. Okay, where was it? We're gonna watch this. If this is a breakdown, awesome.
We went from Walter
If it's a clip show, I'm not watching it.
basically to this guy Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons. He believes in dragons. Did you triple source that? And he also thinks
It would be
that
fine if he
dragons,
didn't think
I
like
guess,
kids were shitting in litter
dinosaur
boxes.
type of animals roamed the earth when people did. So this is the type of really, really bad information that's going out there.
This election was the first time they didn't really have control of the media anymore.
Because what?
Because of us.
Non-mainstream media.
Because of podcasts.
Yeah, it's like,
Because of social.
you guys remember Pink Sauce like a year or two ago? That lady was making it in her garage, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is so great!" But then like she would start to ship it, and it wasn't shipped like a perishable good. She shipped it like you would like treated peanut butter. Like you can't ship that shit like that. She shipped that, and like it all went bad, and like people were getting poisoned and shit. And then like the supplier, the guy that she was working with that was paying her, like she stepped on a bill. And it's like when you leave a regulated market, which is what Joe basically did, and just like freestyle giving that information, like you introduce an unfathomable amount of risk, both in the problems that you personally can't account for, that the system would naturally account for, and then just in some cases, the case of Joe Rogan, given the fact that he's become mainstream, he's become a new mainstream media outside of the mainstream, proliferating just right-wing and billionaire talking points at this point. That's a whole new problem that comes from just, you know, talking out of your ass about dragons and drinking horse and eating horse paste.
Like, you're humanizing Trump like, well, he's human.
Yeah.
So why can't I?
They've been caught up in all this they've shoved down everybody's throat, especially all the Russia
Imagine a scenario where you've thawed a guy out from some frozen cryo chamber thing. He's been in there for like 20 years.
Okay, it is a breakdown.
And this frozen guy, well, he loves comedy.
Demolition Man, great movie.
So this guy is excited to finally be unthawed and to discover what the world of comedy looks like in 2025,
Oof.
the year of our Lord.
A lot of those were
invite the guy to
right-wingers.
your house, sit him down on the Chesterfield, and prepare a televisual feast to get him up to speed.
George Carlin
And you
is
try
just
to find a
rolling
way
in
to
his fucking
explain to this
grave.
guy how this guy right here somehow is a king of both comedy and broadcasting.
said Donald Trump was Hitler, but
He's
half
not
the country
funny.
disagreed with us, and he won, and this is fucking great. And Joe Rogan believes in dragons. And Joe Rogan believes in dragons. Joe Rogan believes in dragons. 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 Dragons.
Well, Joe, you got to realize, like, they're desperate to discredit you because you're also like a wildly dangerous misinformation tool.
But we truly live in hell, and I feel that in my bones. And he's surely going to want to get back in that freezer thing, but he can't. So instead, he slices his own head off.
Okay, the Demolition Man clips are really fucking
Scenario to
good.
think
That
about.
fucking slaps.
How the hell did we get here?
Again, it's a late
Could've
night.
been
I'm
great,
gonna watch
but,
this video and we're
well,
gonna
you guys
call
know
it.
how the universe works. We're all just flying
But
down an endless
so far
series of alternate
successful.
realities inside a vast
I mean, a low,
multiverse.
like almost
And you
no
can't really control which
viewers, and I
branch
get
of
it. It's a
those
Sunday night.
realities
Everyone's
you are
fucking
gonna live
tired.
in.
And also
Well,
I'm not
our
popular, so there's
wonderful
that too.
reality is the one in which this guy was able to be crowned both the king of comedy and the king of broadcasting. And I was sitting here watching this clip of this insane, resentful, unhappy, angry, and unfunny
Successful
old
stream
man
with the
hysterically
simulcasting,
ranting
so this is
and
a good
raving
step
about
in the
his
right
belief in
direction.
dragons.
And then you couldn't believe that watched the news.
Illusion. It's all a fucking illusion. All of them, when convenient, have said the exact same things.
Dragons are real.
While his personally curated group of friends, who he's pretty much hired to hang out with him, sit around subserviently laughing at his terrible attempts at jokes,
Doing the New York thing.
nodding along as he continues to spout the literal dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life, and putting on a master class on the warning signs of early onset dementia.
Fucking climate change. Wake up. No, it's arson. You fucking idiots.
I think to myself, there's no way anybody listens to this. I check the podcast charts. It's number 1. No, 2. And it's listed as comedy. Oh God. It suddenly all hit me how messed up this all is, and how this whole shit era of comedy kind of snuck up on all of us like boiling a frog or whatever. And I don't know if I'm just crazy, but I think this is actually bad. So I started trying to put the puzzle pieces together. Just trying to figure out, how did we even get here? And where are we going? And does it really have to be this shitty? Was it ever even not shitty? Like, what the hell is even going on here? And just like that, I realized it.
I was at the airport one time and I went to a Starbucks to get some coffee.
Stand-up comedy is fucking stupid. And I don't even mean this current shit era. I mean the whole thing. The whole art form, like the whole idea of it. It sucks. And it's worse than stupid, really. It's disgusting. And it should be illegal, maybe.
I hope I haven't offended anyone.
It just keeps getting weirder and weirder and further away from anything I ever thought was good. Yeah, this shit era of comedy is way past its expiration date. It's been fermented.
The common consensus about why this new era of comedy is so bad is that, like, comedy was at its funniest when it was about, like, punching up at your boss, your shitty, like, abusive ex, like, criminals, like, mastermind criminals, like, we're talking like the cartel and shit. Like, you're punching up at people, or you're bringing people up to, like, laugh with you because they're feeling down. Like, they just want to be able to laugh at, like, the absurdity of things, like, and not feel like they're being attacked to get someone's laughs out of them. And instead, like, all comedy now from the right wing is, like, it's just grievance. And it's been going that way since, like, 2007. Like, I remember Carlos Mencia, that piece of shit, did, like, a segment. He was making fun of the N64, like, just trashing on it. Like, it's so weird looking. Who plays video games? Nerd. Like, look at the controller. What is this? Oh God, it's so dumb. It was like nothing funny. He was just bitching. And I'm like, yeah, I don't share that sentiment with you. Like, I have some good memories. It wasn't a perfect console, but you're not making, like, any intelligent arguments about that. You're just bitching, man. I don't want to hear that. And, like, his brand of comedy kind of became, like, a standard for the industry. And, like, Joe, like, pretty much every comedian, like, every unfunny comedian went the way of, like, just grievance politics. Just bitching about shit. Like, even Dave Chappelle did it. Just bitching about trans people for, like, 2 years, which he finally kind of shut up about recently. Like, that's how he got back on SNL, if I'm not mistaken. But, like, dude, like, no, people don't want to hear about constant bitching. Like, nowadays I watch Gianmarco Cerezi, amazing stand-up comedian with great crowd work. He just broke 1 million subscribers on YouTube and, like, elsewhere. He's phenomenally popular. Very great crowd work, very great relating to people about his personal circumstances, the shit he had to deal with, still deals with to today. Like, very quick drop of the hat stuff. Very good commentary. Great guy. Joshua Johnson, who I believe was a correspondent on The Daily Show. I'm not 100% sure on that. But he is a phenomenal storyteller. Like, conveying, like, current circumstances. And fuck, we should watch some of his shit. Fuck me, that... God! Okay. I'm gonna tee up some... Okay, my next stream, no politics next stream. None. Next stream, we're going to have fun. It's going to be Joshua Johnson, maybe some of the Big Les show. We're actually going to watch and enjoy something instead of, like, constantly reviewing how fucking dark and bullshit this timeline is, and how there are Nazis in the fucking White House. No, we're gonna watch some Joshua Johnson and maybe some John Marco. We're gonna get some comedy going. It's gonna be we're gonna have laughs. We're gonna have fun here. We're gonna have fun. But Joshua Johnson, a phenomenal storyteller. He does, his content is usually longer form compared to like Mockler and all the other pundits that we listen to. He pushes out a good video that's like 30 minutes to an hour because it's a full stand-up set usually. And they're fucking hilarious. Like, they are super fucking funny. Yeah, we're definitely going to watch them next time. Him next time. What else? But yeah, like, comedy needs to have a measure of intelligence to it in the sense that, again, like, you don't want to be laughing at your audience, like, or at, like, the audience in general. You want to be laughing at, like, the absurdity of the world, like, the situations you find yourselves in. I think the last name I'm going to throw out there is Anthony Jeselnik, who Anthony is more of a punchline comedian. Like, he'll tell jokes and he'll drop a punchline, but they're pretty clever. And, like, sometimes you'll see where he's going with the joke, but then he's very good at, like making a hard right turn where you think he's going to go left sometimes. He's a very clever guy, and I like his politics, too, not going to lie. But let's get back to Elephant Graveyard. We're going to watch this, call it a night, and then either tomorrow night or night after, we're going to have a fun stream. We're just going to have fun.
Fully soured, and is now completely putrefied. It's... how else can I describe this?
He's funny. I
We
can't
are
remember
way
his fucking
past
name.
the
He does the
tail end of
Batman
it,
stuff.
And we are dancing around in the steaming pile of shit that fell out of its ass. We've talked about this
I love
before,
the Elephant
but
Graveyard.
everything has its cycle. You get that, right? Come on,
Jesus.
a guy like you. I mean, there are guys out there who have already been talking about the cycles better than I can.
That's a cult leader.
Human beings
Like,
should
literally.
realize that
Love this
everything has their cycle. They have their season.
I agree with this guy.
They have their beginning. They have their end.
Yep.
They have cycles.
I think I agree with
Planet
everything
Earth
he says.
About to be recycled.
Good. Do it.
We're on the threshold of the end of this civilization because it's about to be recycled.
Right,
Your only
I understand
chance to evacuate is to leave with us.
All right.
Jesus, yeah.
Our lives have cycles.
I think that was Heaven's
History has
Gate.
cycles.
Don't quote me on
Culture,
that one. There's
ecosystems.
one of those pops up
You
every
see it
now and then.
everywhere. It's just obvious. You're telling me you don't see the cycles? What, are you drunk like all the time?
Jesus Christ.
Well, it's also obvious that this current shit era of comedy has reached its end. And wouldn't it be great if that
Dude,
next
seriously.
era could get started? Well, unfortunately, there are incredibly powerful forces keeping this bloated comedy carcass on life support.
Fucking Mark
artificially
Andreessen, of
sustained,
course.
And they
Peter
won't allow
Thiel.
it to die off and renew like
This
it's
jackass.
supposed to.
Hi.
Disgusting.
Another reason why
This
John
whole
Marco
shit
and
era was
Johnson
really
are
ushered
fun
in by
because they
Dane
don't
Cook,
appear to have
who
billionaire
was one
backing.
of the first guys to figure out the scheme of using social media to get famous. This
Dane
new
Cook.
technology shifted reality, opening up a new branch of the multiverse in which talent and, like, being funny became secondary to how well you could market yourself online. Or maybe I'm wrong and he's actually brilliant, I don't know. Who can be sure?
You ever wish you were a snake?
Not me.
Cool to travel around.
You know, there was a few guys that I saw that were like no-brainers. Dane was one. Like the
Bill
the shit
Burr
that
is
he gets through, the
intelligent
level
and
that
funny.
guy was killing. Dude, he put the fear in God in guys that have been doing it for 20 years. We used to do Dick Doherty, rest his soul, his comedy clubs. And Dane would have the headliner like pacing in the back.
Damn.
He was killing that hard, and he would be like, you know, I shouldn't have to follow that. There's no jokes here. It's like, well, listen to the crowd. There's
Yeah.
something going on here.
Dane Cook was funny from like
So
2004 to
instead of wasting their energy on
2006.
writing good jokes,
And then he
guys
cratered.
began focusing on how well they could promote themselves on the internet.
Waiting is a good
And then
movie.
people
I
started
recommend
making
Waiting
these
to anyone
movies
that's ever
called
worked in the service
podcasts,
industry.
too. And
That
given
was
the
like the
potential
Bronze
payoff,
Age of
the
service.
low cost and low effort
The
required to do
last,
all this crap was
the
irresistible.
last time.
Especially for these lazy comedian guys whose greatest motivation in life is the fear of ever having to get a real job. And And that marks
See,
the
I do
official
this
beginning of
because
the
I have a
comedy
real job.
podcast shit entanglement era,
Unfortunately.
in which we are currently festering. Congratulations. Of course, nobody struck gold bigger than this genius, Joe Rogan. There he is. Yeah, this guy never had an original idea in his life. He really doesn't know anything
Also,
about
funny
anything,
enough,
but he does know how to copy a
he
guy
took
who
down
already
Carlos
did a
Mencia.
thing.
Because Joe is better friends with actual comedians.
Believe women, right? All of them?
Hey, how about almost all?
How about you believe like 88%, and that last 12% that's out of their minds? You know, I think that's a fair percentage, wouldn't you?
You gotta leave room for crazy.
That's what he does with stand-up, and that's what he did to start his podcast, which he stole the idea for from Tom Green.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It is 8:01. You're watching Tom Green Live. Roll the open.
Tom had the brains and the balls to start his own talk show, broadcasting live on the internet from his own home. And it was great. It was funny, chaotic, and it never took itself seriously.
That's good booze. Play something
Oh,
real quick,
Norm.
okay? All right.
I'm on Tom Green Live, hooray!
All right, cool. Awesome.
It was unpredictable, and stuff went wrong all the time.
We can't see the on-air feed right now. It's not happening. Yeah, the live feed's not coming through too good, but we figured we'd sit and wait.
This guy's scaring me. Are we up on the computers? We're up, yeah.
He'd get mad at his production staff as a bit.
I want to see a laptop right now with it on the feed. Can I see it? Bring me a laptop right now.
Instead of whatever this is,
No. It's like a.
It's weird.
It's
Yeah.
sort of like an Olympic.
Sorry.
sometimes he'd get bombarded with prank calls, and because Tom has an actual sense of humor and a fully functioning brain, he could play along with them.
Tom Green, can you do a barrel roll for me?
A barrel roll.
Yeah, a barrel roll.
Do a barrel roll.
I like that guy. That guy's cool.
I'm the guy you hung up on the first call.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry about that.
Hey, man, I just wanted to tell you.
Hello, you're on the air.
Instead of whatever this is,
I am really into rock, paper, scissors.
How into it are you?
I'm undefeated.
How is that possible?
But whenever they wanted anything, I would be like, all right, rock, paper, scissors. If you win, you can do this thing. If I win, and then I would like pick the thing that was like their sort of deepest fear, you know. Where
Can we
it's
play
like,
right now?
If I win, I do the programming on your show for a week.
No. That's worth a lot of money. You can f off. Vance,
You were so confident until just now.
No.
You know something? Joe should have let him do it. Joe should have just let him do it.
Lose at rock, paper,
Like,
scissors.
show some fucking balls, man.
No, you're at.
That's worth a lot of money. He's been paid $100 million. Give him a week of the show. Are you fucking kidding me? Fucking pussy.
Asking me for something that's ridiculous.
look how
You
mad
asked me
it
for
is.
You don't
something
have it.
ridiculous.
Fuck off.
The number one comedy podcast in the world.
Friends was a funny show.
Joe, you were great on Friends.
No, I wasn't on Friends.
That's a joke.
Hey, stop joking.
No.
But is this
Hey,
all going to
everybody's
be
done it.
Yeah.
huge?
Is it?
Huge?
That's a joke.
Did that-
Such a fun podcast. Such a fun time.
Need to beat Russia? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Fun.
Are you serious? Do you know how big that place is? Do you
Too
know how
big.
much military force is behind Putin? Are you? What are you talking about?
What are you talking
What are you
about?
talking about? Like, what if he
Right.
just decides to go nuclear?
Oh God, shut up. Oh, that's better. Oh hell yeah.
He's
God,
got exhibit.
Imagine that parallel universe where Tom became the number one podcast guy instead of Joe. Must be a fun place to be. That's where we're all.
People
supposed
watch
to
Joe
be
because they
if
wanted
anything
Joe
made
to
any
like
fucking
them.
sense in this stupid world, but it doesn't.
Tom
Sadly,
Green didn't
guys, we're
care.
all forced to live in
And
this
his fans learned that they
very
didn't
shitty
care.
branch of the multiverse.
Exiled from the group.
This
But he's, Tom Green's a good guy. I would have, I would have watched it. Tell you.
Idea, made a much shittier version of it, and slowly took over mainstream media, comedy, and the U.S. government. As he continues to spread his wonderful mental herpes to all his listeners week after week.
Make your daddy proud.
I'm proud to be your friend.
I'm proud of yours as well.
I love you, Joe, man.
I love you too,
Thank you for
brother.
your time, bro.
Oh yeah, thanks. Almost forgot to thank him today. You can watch in real time the moment Joe realizes there might be gold in these podcast hills.
Dude, I think this is awesome.
Thank you, man. See, no, I mean,
This is the craziest thing ever.
it really is different, you know,
Yeah.
than television.
This
or
is
anything.
way better.
He gets rock hard, praising its lack of corporate interests and griping about how advertising and money ruin anything good about
It's
entertainment.
not a corporate pressure. See,
Yeah.
the thing that f***ed up television,
Watch the lab,
thing that
Mike.
f***ed up entertainment in general
Idiot.
is money. They
Oh,
still
really?
selling advertising, and that's all. And that fucks up everything. It doesn't make anything good.
A belief he abandons literally within seconds once he realizes that he could be the sole beneficiary of this potential new advertising revenue stream.
We need to figure out how you make money from this.
Yeah.
I think we thought money ruined everything.
A national interweb, we call it, and then create a mass traffic
like a portal.
Gauge.
Watch right here. You can see the wheels turning inside his brain as he quickly flip-flops.
Like a portal into the advertising revenue.
Oh shit, he was on his...
You know?
Yeah.
So he just copied Tom Green, and he started the Joe Rogan shitcast experiment, and just for being an early adopter of podcasting, he was able to become the biggest and most mainstream establishment media figure on the planet.
Pretty
There he
much,
goes,
yeah.
Stealing Joe.
He's up.
Yeah, this visionary genius is comedy's George Carmack. Who's George Carmack? Well, he's the guy who found that first piece of gold in the Yukon, which started the whole Klondike gold rush. There was nothing special about George Carmack. He was just some guy. He was just lucky enough to get a tip from this other guy, Robert Henderson, saying there might be some gold up there in the Yukon. So George just went up there and yeah, he found some. And after that, loads of guys swarmed up to the Klondike there and ruined the place as they all tried to copy what Carmack did. And just like Henderson tipped off Carmack, Tom Green tipped off Joe, giving Joe the idea to start a DIY podcast. And he did. And he struck gold and caused a stampede of comedians trying to copy his blueprint, turning everything to shit in the process.
I think Joe would be a slightly more endearing figure if he stopped doing stand-up. Like, dude, like, you don't have your own bits or anything. I think he had, like, a bit, like, 20 years ago, like, where he could tell something funny. Like, I've heard stories of, like, him having, like, a couple of stories that are funny and interesting. But overall, it's like, dude, just stick to bullshitting with people. And also, like, remember the fact that, like, you're not an authority on anything. You're just some jackass that gets high and, like, does jujitsu every now and then. Like, Jesus fuck.
Like a plague of locusts. Shit locusts. And guys, please don't hold that against Tom, all right? There's no way he could have predicted the consequences of that tip. And Tom's a wonderful man. And actually, just like Joe Rogan, all his riches were never enough for George Carmack. He was always questing for more and more gold, never satisfied. He, like Joe, must have had some kind of dad-shaped hole in his soul that he tried to fill with money and fame, but it never really worked.
Horse pills.
What are you saying?
George dropped dead at age 61 while working yet another new claim. I'm just saying. So Joe struck gold, and as we all know, became the godfather king of both comedy and podcasting.
Joe's 59.
And helped to restore faith that we are still living in a meritocracy-based society. And we love him and we thank him each and every day of our lives. Along the way, Joe spawned a slew of copycat shows trying to coattails his success to the point where every single comedian now has their
I think
own
Tom
podcast,
Segura's
literally
okay,
every
but
single
even
one.
then, like,
and so many of them
okay
were
is
built on
iffy.
the same premise of what goes on inside a comedian's twisted mind. What really happens backstage in that green room?
The green room is amazing.
I mean, Segura's
I know it looks bad, and
Oh no,
it doesn't.
I can't believe it. Well, we all found out pretty quick that most of them are just sick, twisted perverts and dangerous, mentally ill narcissists, predators, abusers, all those kinds of guys, farting around in that stupid green room in one big depraved circle jerk.
Jesus Christ. I had girls in my dick giving me coke from Chewy. You think I'm fucking kidding you? Yeah, you gotta suck my dick to get in the belly room. I'm making a call for you. That's the fucking gateway into coming to Hollywood. Everybody knows that.
How many girls did you have do that?
Oh, 20 of them. She got to Hollywood, bro. She was beautiful. And when she left, she had dirty fucking, her nails were dirty. And then a year later, she wrote me a letter to the Comedy Store. You sucker, you broke me. I kept shooting sperm balls in her fucking bar.
That actually makes me want to start believing in the death penalty. Send him right to Sparky. Anyways, on and on
Yeah,
it
these
went.
guys
and
suck.
they just kept making these podcasts. They just won't stop pumping them out. And then a pandemic happened, and people were alone, and so desperate not to listen to the thoughts inside their own heads. So they put on these podcasts as mental screensavers and escape into the friendship simulation that these podcasts provide. And the numbers went up, and more guys made more and more podcasts.
Fuck, the Elephant Graveyard is...
always trying to
he's a
out-compete
good...
each other by making
he's
everything as fast,
good
cheap,
analysis.
and low
Jesus
effort as
Christ.
possible. And then it's just a matter of reading ads for dick pills or nicotine mouthwash or whatever.
Brain nourishing.
Oh, it's not good. These lazy stand-up guys got into comedy because it was the easiest thing they could do to avoid getting a real job. But then podcasting came along, and suddenly they had an even easier way to make even more money.
podcast?
And then pretty soon the podcast eclipsed the stand-up, and now all these so-called comedians are really just zero-effort podcasters selling shitty products again and again and again.
We'll be back with the interview in 1 minute. First, we want to talk to you about the sponsors of today's episode, AG1.
That's a serial killer.
We take AG1 to stay healthy.
And you're looking great there, bud. Jesus Christ. They really have become indistinguishable from those infomercials you used to see on TV late at night when you couldn't sleep. And you'd turn that thing on out of desperation just to maybe hear another voice. You might even see an interesting product. Who knows?
Arthritis, depression.
Those are podcasts now.
iRestore, the clinically proven, game-changing hair growth device, iRestore. This show is brought to you by DraftKings.
They're just places these fools can hawk supplements and get free advertising
Again,
for their own
like,
branded crap.
Burt Kreischer has one good story, and that's
they all
it.
follow that original blueprint from
Like,
the
I don't know of any other
podcasting.
comedy he's doing that's
Joe
interesting.
Rogan.
Tom Green is real.
He's got
It's
one
a
good
real
story. It's a
thing.
good story, but like that's it.
What is it? Can I take it? I'm breastfeeding.
Alpha Brain is a nootropic that my company On It makes. And I'm not saying this because it's my company.
Oh,
I'm actually a very anxious person.
I have a friend whose daughter was on ADHD medication, and she was getting off of it, and he started giving her Alpha
He's always got a
Brain.
friend.
He said it
Like,
helped her
Respect
I
for
get
the
a friend
daughter.
whose wife
Wow.
is a teacher,
He's
and
become
her
the new
kids shit in litter
establishment,
boxes.
cutting
It's
deals
like
with
you're
big
just
pharma,
lying,
backed by massive
jackass.
corporations like Spotify and the Big N.
It was up to 250 million. There's okay.
In general, is money. That's all.
Real quick about Joe. This is a rumor. Like, this is an unsubstantiated rumor. There's a rumor that he's a secret billionaire and we just don't know about it. It's a big rumor. I don't not believe it, but I don't believe it either because I haven't seen anything to substantiate that yet. But you figure if the Spotify deal was secretly 250 million and it's been re-upped and he's made all that money from Fear Factor and everything else, like in the years of podcasting before that, like it's not impossible. But again, like that's also why that's the real reason for me personally why I hate Joe. He's richer than sin, and he's the lead propagandist of billionaires. He's had like 5 of the major ones on in the last month and a half, and just glazing them as they destroy government institutions. Like he got his, if he isn't a billionaire, he's almost a billionaire. Like he's on his way to be one, and he's doing their footwork to crush us. I don't respect him. I don't like him. He's an annoying, dumbass piece of shit. And being a dumbass can be endearing. Currently, Theo Von, he's treading a fine line after the shit he said about Zelensky last week. He's still got like one shot to unfuck that. He's had Hassan on recently. Like, I don't trust Theo either. But he hasn't reached Joe levels of like, I've got mine, fuck the pores, fuck where I came from, and serve billionaires, jackasses. Like, he hasn't reached that yet. But Joe is there. Joe is a class traitor. And, like, he is a bad person in my book. Like, and fuck him. You know? Fuck him.
And that fucks up everything. It doesn't make anything good.
So Joe was getting more and more popular. But with that success came a whole new level of public criticism that Joe was not prepared for and was too weak and frankly lazy to handle. See, one of the core problems with this Joe Rogan guy is the fact that he has that dad-shaped hole in his soul that we alluded to earlier. He grew up with this terrible guy for a dad.
My big memory from my childhood is my mother coming home with hamburger meat and my father being upset that it was hamburger that she had brought home for dinner, and he beat the shit out of her.
Jesus.
And we left.
And do you think that somehow or another that put that fight in you?
Yeah, unquestionably. Yeah, like I thought my dad was this great guy. You know, when you're a kid, your dad's your hero.
Right.
You know? And then all of a sudden, I realized when I was 5 years old, very clearly that my dad was a douchebag. You know, there's that feeling that you can't trust anybody.
And that's okay. That's rough. I can't take that away from him.
Dad abandoned him.
You
But
didn't
left him
deserve
with a
that.
lifetime gift,
Didn't deserve that at
a
all.
dark black hole inside his soul he might not even be aware of, and if he is entirely incapable of fixing or even acknowledging. Crippling fear. Now this black hole, it produces incredibly powerful emotional gravity. All his fears, insecurities, self-loathing coalesce around that dad hole. And over these 68 years of Joe's life, this swirling concoction of negativity has formed around the hole. And that's stressful, man. It's a real bind. And it's actually a big reason why Joe became a comedian in the first place.
Why else did you get into being a comedian?
I don't know. I got
Were you a
talked into
comedian at
doing
home?
it. No, I wasn't really very funny. I got talked into doing stand-up by my friends from martial arts.
Stop laughing. It's not funny.
I was very insecure, and I got bullied.
See, it's a sad thing.
And I wasn't big. I was a small kid.
Better music.
And I was really nervous, and I did not like.
God,
that feeling
I
at
keep
all.
forgetting he's only 5'3".
I went to an open mic night. I watched.
Like, I'm
amateurs
taller than
try
him
it. Like,
by,
most of
like,
them
a noticeable
don't know what
amount.
they're doing. They're terrible. Like, people who really suck inspire you to do.
That being said, okay, I'm going to glaze him a little bit here. I've seen his reverse back kick, and it's brutal. Like, it is insane how good he was at that. I don't know if he's... I've seen some of them training, like, within the last, like, 5 years, but, like, young Joe Rogan's reverse back kick was a weapon. Like, I don't know if he can still do that, but, like, when he could do that, like, very impressive. I can't hold a candle to that, even in my prime. Like, my full fitness prime. No. Like, it was insane. Still doesn't excuse all this bullshit.
Do it because they lower the bar of expectation.
And do you still do
I'm gonna
your
make the
stand-up?
chat a little small.
Oh, come on.
'Cause
That is
it's
the
like,
emperor of
what
comedy
am I
you're
doing?
talking to. See, there are two main strains of comedian.
Yeah.
The first kind are the people that are creative artists that have weird brains and maybe even have a triple-digit IQ, and they're driven to create. They are compelled by
Norm
the
Macdonald.
muses or whatever, and it makes sense that they're comedians.
I like an escalator, man, because an escalator can never break. It can only become stairs.
Oh. I remember those. The other
That's a
kind of
good
stand-up
one. That's a
comics,
really
because almost
fucking
all of
good
them
one.
These days are sad people with black holes inside their soul who get into comedy to try and get external validation from audiences.
And
to
make money.
indulge in the delusion of power that they feel when standing alone on stage with an amplified microphone where nobody
Lucas
else
sucks.
is allowed
He's
to
a piece of
speak.
shit.
Probably they should lock their phones in
He's
a
not
bag
funny.
too. And I'm trying to think about who else stood on stage with
Hey,
a
that's that
microphone
one
trying to
right-winger.
fill a
He
hole,
fucking sucks.
vying for attention and power. Oh yeah, this guy. Yeah, for this type of guy, stand-up comedy is a dream.
Yeah, they're
sad
kind of,
little
they're all
guys
kind of
who seek
Nazis.
power and-
Real quick, what's his name? Did all the coke and just came back recently. Did a stand-up bit like a year or so ago. Married to Olivia Munn. Why am I blanking so hard on him? Tall, skinny guy. Dave Kroll's friend. Why am I blanking so hard on his name here? God damn it. Looking it up. Fucking tired. It's getting late. Losing my hour pissed me off. John Mulaney. Okay. John Mulaney did a stand-up bit when he came back after being, like, in rehab. Very good stand-up. Like, surprisingly good. And again, like, when you can relate to a comedian, like, in his case, it's like, I can't relate to, you know, relapsing, going deep into drugs, ruining my first marriage, getting a famous actress pregnant, and, like, again, going into, like, rehab. I can't relate to that. But, like, the way he talks about, like, his desperation and everything for the drugs, and, like, his ambivalence and, frankly, anger towards, like, the intervention and everything, and, like, how kind of pathetic he looked. Like, to be able to stand in front of a crowd of strangers and, like, express that, like, that's impressive. That's relatable, and, frankly, admirable. And I hold a lot of, like judgmental feelings towards Mulaney for how, like, what happened between him and his ex-wife and his, like, you can relate to the instance, but you can still resent someone that has everything, by all accounts, and still just kind of threw it all to the wind. But it was a good stand-up bit. And, like, that's the key to stand-up, is, like, relatability and, like, vulnerability with your audience. And like, Rogan doesn't have that. Because, again, like, he like, if he came out and said, my net worth is this, it's $500 million, or it is secretly $1 billion, like, that's a little more honest. Instead, we're left to speculate, and we're also seeing him make, like, hundreds of millions while he just gets high and sits at home and invites his friends over and glazes Elon Musk and Mark Andreessen. Like, not relatable. In fact, like, dog shit behavior. So yeah, like, when a comedian is vulnerable and they open up that part of their broken soul, their hurt soul, to share it with you, the audience, and they can laugh and make light of it, that's fucking funny. But Tony Hinchcliffe getting up on stage and being like, all Puerto Ricans are dirty sluts and they procreate like rabbits and fuck them. It's like, they're fucking Americans, you jackass. Like, what the fuck? Fucking dog.
External validation.
Fuck
It's
him.
classic Hitler stuff. And
It
it's
really
scary,
is.
psychotic stuff.
Free speech. That's what we're fighting. That's all I'm fighting.
Fuck, it's Dave.
When I'm on that stage, I'm there to dictate your emotions.
Oh.
Dictator at that point.
He admits it.
That's all we're fighting for is free speech.
It's this weird power fantasy where, if they're lucky, they can find enough other dumb sad guys in an audience who will give them the laughter and applause they need so badly.
Would you rather be happy and a lot of people not see your art?
I
or
wouldn't
your
be happy.
set?
I wouldn't be happy. I can already answer that before you even finish that question. I couldn't be happy if people aren't absorbing art of mine.
Sounds familiar.
Why do you think that is?
Because I'm addicted to it now. I'm addicted to that feeling of
Validation.
Gratification, instant gratification, validation, all of it.
And this shit era of comedy is all built around guys like this, whose entire scheme is simply pandering to the most easily entertained, brain-dead audience.
Roseanne sucks. She used to be relatable.
self-soothing
Lucas
dopamine
is just a
hit.
piece of shit.
And at no point are they funny. And that's the real issue. And they're just too lazy and stupid and driven by urges other than the pursuit of...
Jeremy Piven.
Wait, what's this?
1,000 years ago,
What is this?
I did a show called Entourage. You imagine if we tried to reboot that today in this climate?
Yeah.
We used to have billboards everywhere. Just those billboards today.
I love my first time chatter. A Blaze
white,
Thunderstorm. Best viewers on
focused
streamboo.com.
men
Come on,
coming
man.
straight at me.
Like,
People would be like, is that a
really?
documentary about January
Really?
6th?
Yeah, that is really good stuff. That actually changed my mind. This era of comedy rules. This era of comedy rules. So yeah, comedy copers. That's the kind of comedian Joe is.
That's a
And
good
it's
way of
sad.
putting it. They're
He'd love
coping.
to shrink
Fuck.
the size of that dark amalgam that haunts him, but he can't because he doesn't seem to realize, or maybe it's too painful to think about, that he's only chained to that swirling mass of negativity because of the emotional gravity of that dad hole. Address the trauma of that dad hole and the rest floats away into the void. But he
There's
can't.
nothing wrong
He
with
won't.
therapy. Like, I don't know how else to put that. Like, just go to therapy. It's fine. No one will think less of you for doing fucking therapy. Jesus Christ.
Terrifying and unimaginable proportions.
Hello, everybody. I have an announcement. The podcast is moving to Spotify. Thanks.
Joe made a big boy business deal with the partly Chinese Communist Party-owned Spotify Corporation. And after that, he started getting in a lot more trouble for making up stuff on his show and like ruining society and things like that. And at first he had to keep apologizing when he got caught lying, which is crazy to think about now, but it was a different era back then.
Historic fires are ripping through 3 western states.
Hello, everybody. I need to make an apology and a retraction. I said something on the podcast about people getting arrested for lighting.
You know what?
fires.
Hold on. I'm not letting
got
that
duped. It's
that
wrong,
bot stay there.
And I said it without looking into it. It's
No
very
bots
irresponsible,
allowed.
And, I'm sorry if I do.
Wait, can I just delete that?
I know it feels very
Can't I?
irresponsible of me. I don't take it lightly. I'm very upset with myself, and I apologize to you as well. Sorry.
The guy was in way over his head, and his inability to distinguish reality from fiction was starting to stress him out.
Goddamn.
Knowing how much he was bound to keep screwing up and how much trouble he'd keep getting in.
Sorry.
And, if that wasn't bad enough, his best friend humiliated him for apologizing.
What do you think about our buddy put an apology today?
Sorry.
Who?
You see Joe
Rogan, but
put
he
the
got a
apology-
fact wrong.
Poor Joe Rogan. He put the apology up.
Sorry.
They would tell him go. He was. That's hard for my dog. My heart goes out to him. He had to put an apology up. Shit.
I guess he.
Things look good when he was. Things look good in the basement, dog. Once you take that Spotify money, you got to start apologizing and make him believe you can't. You know, poor guy. That's what happens when you get that money. You cash that big check. You got to watch what you say. You see it?
This marked the start of the apology era, which would end up being way too much adversity for
I don't know the way to delete that
To get
yet,
out of
so
this bind,
that's what I
Joe
did to
was
get rid
about
of it.
to embark on a transformation that will surely be studied by psychologists for the rest of time.
I didn't want it
How
hanging up
serious
there
is
in the
this?
chat.
Is this something that we need to be terrified of?
So, long story short, a pandemic started. Joe couldn't handle it, and he went and had a panic attack in the sauna.
Well, I was scared out of my mind in the beginning. When everybody's shutting down in the beginning and people are stockpiling food, I was worried about people I knew getting really sick and dying. And then I was convinced that I had it. At one point in time, I was like, God, I do feel like I'm breathing heavy. I felt like my breath is coming short. I did. I had psychosomatic
Now
issues
who's the bitch,
thinking about
Joe?
it.
Guy had a panic attack sitting on fucking 12 elk. You had a fucking panic attack.
in
and
the
then,
sauna.
And then you felt bad about yourself, and then you attack people with masks. That's how it works. And that's how the hatred starts.
And that really was.
I love Bill
the
Burr.
hatred was unleashed. Soon after, Joe
He's not
kept talking
perfect, but
about
like
the
he's
shit
80,
homeless
90%
guys.
of the way there.
Nobody does
Like,
anything
fuck.
about violent crime in LA anymore. Maybe we should just go and shoot homeless people.
I like your ideas.
Yeah.
What the
Pandemic
fuck?
stuff was way too
I forgot about that. Yeah, that
And
was
he started
bullshit.
frantically scrolling Twitter, found a new group of guys to hang out with, and these guys allowed Joe to believe that everything was actually okay, and so Joe felt relieved and safe with them. And
Emma Vigeland said it best. The anti-vax movement is filled with people that are just scared of needles. It's just true.
transformed his inner anxiety into outward rage, an emotion he was more accustomed to dealing with on account of that bad dad. But unfortunately, this new group of guys
Bad
and all the
dad,
stuff he and Joe
dad,
were talking
dad.
about was getting Joe a lot of negative attention. And that made even more anxiety bubble up. And again, Joe transformed that anxiety into an even bigger rage. And I mean, this guy was getting pissed.
Well, breaking news this evening, Joe Rogan, an extremely popular podcaster, announced on social media today that he has
Shit,
COVID.
anyone got a lighter?
He mentioned ivermectin is something more often used to deworm horses.
I can afford people medicine, motherfucker. This is me. This is ivermectin.
You got it
This is
with
right
you.
here. Somebody gave it to me.
Oh, this is amazing.
Look, they put a yellow filter on me too. They did. I look like shit there. Do you know that?
I think you look good.
Pause.
And his mind just completely shattered.
I don't
That's enough, Jim.
It kind of
He had to
did.
defend this
It,
new
he
guy
kind of really
started
did.
becoming, and all his beliefs, which were the only thing abating his rampant anxiety. And now he was way too invested in this stuff to ever turn back.
5'3". I think this is really important. One of the problems that I've had, me personally, I've had with any idea is that once I have an original idea or once
Old
I
guy,
start looking
retired.
at something a certain way, I become married to it. And I've had real problems with that. And the problem with saying this happened and that happened, which I used to do all the time, is that you don't fucking know. You don't know. You don't know. But until you do know, when you say you know and you might be wrong, it becomes an ego thing. If I wasn't doing this fucking podcast, okay, if I was just a regular comedian and that's what I did for a living and I didn't pay much attention to alternative media and podcasts, I would be just like people I know who I used to be friends with who now hate me and are angry at me and talk shit about me online.
Yeah, dude, because you're
Now, you
getting
might have
like
noticed
family
that Joe
members
is on the
killed.
verge
Like,
of tears there,
oh,
struggling
so
very
sorry,
hard not
you're
to
getting
break
bad
down and
words said
cry.
about you. Cry
That's
into your
because the
hundreds
real
of
Joe
millions
is
of
inside
dollars,
there
you fuck.
somewhere dying,
Fucking
desperately
jackass.
trying to be heard. But Joe won't allow it. He's committed to being the new guy. And he puts in major effort in order to keep the old guy beneath the surface, basically torturing him into submission.
And I'm taking the lid off that cold plunge. As I'm taking it off, this, don't do it, don't do it. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. And I climb right in and and because I get through it every day, I start the day off with a win. I won. I beat the inner bitch.
Yeah.
I conquered the inner bitch. I got in there.
If I start my day with a win, then how can I be a loser? Well, despite winning so hard at life from sitting in that tub, he was still pretty messed up from all the backlash he was getting from all his major whoopsies.
I would
Quite a
have been
few.
like them if I didn't have the access to the kind of conversations that I've had, if I didn't have the kind of mindset that I have.
The mindset.
My personality.
Personality.
Is just immune to bullshit.
He's got it all.
When bullshit hits me, I'm go, oh, I know what this is. I grew up without a dad.
Daddy.
I don't trust people.
There
and
it is.
The people that haven't experienced that, I can understand why they formed the conclusions that they did. Because I
Dude,
could
go
have
to
been
therapy.
them. I 100% could have been them.
Well, thank God Joe's mommy bought Hamburger that fateful night. Or Joe could have ended up a guy with the biggest mainstream media platform on earth, being easily used and exploited by weird billionaires and grifters, and allowing it to happen because he's just so desperate for love and validation on account of that dad hole. It's crazy to think there's a multiverse thing out there where the #1 comedy podcast doesn't have guests like some comic book villain evil rich guy, all these nutjob billionaire dweebs, and like, I don't know, a guy literally from the CIA, That's on like once a month for some reason. And also like the entire government, basically. Could any of these people have tried to influence the way he thinks? Nah, man, he grew up without a dad, so you don't even have to take that question into consideration. And say sorry. Like, would it kill you to just apologize for no reason? Anyway, yeah, the manipulation of Joe. I thank the Lord each day of my life that that didn't happen. Right, Duncan? Remember you warned Joe about that happening? Thank you so much for saving our dad. I mean, Joe. Thank God he's got friends that still tell him the truth and don't tell him part of the truth and then walk it back a little bit.
I like
out of fear
Duncan,
of
but
disrupting his delusions, stressing him out,
done a
and then
few
being
fucked
cut
up,
out of his
a
inner
fistful of
circle.
fucked up things.
That would be spineless.
I still think
and,
he's great,
you know,
but
would make
yeah.
it obvious that all your peace and love and honesty stuff was just a load of crap all along.
If you're not careful, folks from deep, dark wells of perspective are gonna infiltrate your shit.
Listen to me. Listen to me. All those people that are organized, they come hang out with us. Give me a hug.
You don't want to give them a hug.
Relax.
Why?
Just relax. All those people are just people, man.
Like a what?
You let one Nazi in, it becomes a fucking Nazi bar, and Joe Rogan is the billionaire Nazi bar. Like, he's gone. He's lost in the sauce. Like, it's like with great power comes great responsibility, and he has a massive amount of power and is completely irresponsible with how he uses it. It's like you should be uplifting the American people from every way, where in every way you can. Instead, he's fomenting disinformation and the whims of billionaires is normal, and it's absurd. It's infuriating. It drives me fucking nuts. He should do and know better. He can't just be an idiot forever. Like, I don't know. I remember hearing about any SS agents that were like, "Oh, I just didn't know what they were doing in those fucking." I thought they were baking a cake. Like, you thought they were baking like a cake a day, and the cake smelled like human flesh. It's like, yeah, I thought we were like running some sort of like weird Jew bakery. Like, fuck. Like, you have to be responsible at a certain point. You have to suffer consequences. And this jackass, one childhood trauma, like instead of dealing with it, now gets to live life consequence free and just ruin America for the rest of us. Fucking idiot.
White supremacists?
They're lost.
Yeah, but you have to watch out because people are gonna like try to exploit you. That's the main thing. Is like people recognizing what you are.
Duncan's
who have
right.
Political agendas will infiltrate your shit and then start blowing out their radioactivity into the world. Right? That's a fear.
Duncan's right.
But like, dude, I do worry about you sometimes, man, because it's like you now have a platform that is unlike any
He's
platform
the
that's
platform.
happened, you know, because you're doing
Midas may have overthrown him, and they may be doing some numbers on him, but like,
interviewing people about
Joe's
really
still
heavy
power.
duty shit. Then you start thinking like, fuck, man, I've got this podcast that lots of people listen to. Has it ever happened where maybe some really intelligent person has manipulated me in an attempt to get me to disseminate some kind of information out into the world?
Good luck manipulating me, Duncan Trussell. I'm an American.
Yeah,
okay?
but you wouldn't even
That's-
know. That's the
that's
thing. You
literally how
wouldn't
they
even
did
know.
it.
No, how would I not know? These people are people.
What?
They're going to be like, if someone is so good at manipulating people that they can manipulate me and
Yeah.
change the way I think about things.
Yeah.
Well, then good luck.
So Joe got attached to all this COVID stuff, and everyone
Yeah,
was either yelling
like-
at him and calling him a dangerous idiot, or they were showering him with praise for widely broad.
I put my dumb ass in the hospital like a few years back doing the dumbest fucking thing. Now at that point, I'd already been disavowed of like I'm young, I'm immortal delusions. Like I was already a father by that time. But like what happened to me was psychologically bad. Like I came out the other end, more or less. But like, while again, I wasn't laboring under the idea that like, oh, I'm invincible. Like I was already starting to fall apart then. Like I felt like I brushed up against the face of death, and any remaining delusions about like invulnerability, like were gone. Like it's just delusion to think that you're invulnerable, like that nothing can hurt you or change you or affect you in a way that outside of what you intend. Like that's what this world is. Like we live day to day in relative stability. You got food, shelter, if you're lucky. Like, you're not worried about like walking down the street and getting attacked by a tiger. But the thing is, like, that's reality, is that like any random fucking thing can happen at any moment and just end your life, ruin your day. A meteor that we're not tracking, like that could be moving at the speed of light, hits the planet before we are able to identify it. You could be gone in an instant. A splash of gamma rays from the sun or deep space hitting the earth and just wiping us all out. Like, it's all possible. Everything's on the table. Reality is what it'll be. And you can't labor under the idea that you're not vulnerable at any given. Like, I'm wearing a fucking mask, people. I'm not because I'm worried about COVID, because I'm worried about fucking psychos online. Like, you need to do what you can to prepare and understand that no matter how well prepared you are, it's likely not going to be enough. So you need to be ready to take an L here and there. Like, can't think of life as just one big battle. It's one war. And you're going to lose some battles. And Joe lost one battle a long time ago and never recovered from it. And now he's all or nothing. And it's why he's a lost cause. He can't take an L. And it's like, just take your fucking L's, dude.
Broadcasting all their favorite ideas about what reality might be and making them feel validated. So, if you're a fearful, self-loathing, and external validation-seeking guy like Joe, which side would you embrace? Well, instead of posting more apology videos, he opted to fully dive into a wonderful new safe space. He tapped into something he'd been searching for all his life, a source of constant praise and affirmation. And the guys doing all the praising were happy to have found a powerful ally in the new mainstream media. And as if that wasn't enough, Joe also found an endless parade of charlatans willing to juice his rod like he's some kind of god king for access to his wonderful platform and a chance to milk him for their own fame and fortune.
I want to give you the gifts I got you, bro. Got 5 of them. Okay, the letter to the right is the Warren Commission.
Is that Patrick Bet David?
Autograph of Lee Harvey Oswald, and you got the autograph of John F. Kennedy.
Wow, a 5th place golf tournament prize.
So I hope you like this.
It's wonderful.
Last one, I'm convinced this is the one that I think you're going to like a lot. So, this one was work, bro. Hope you like it. Okay. This is with the what do you call it when you're doing a...
Whoa. Yeah, it's called a BPSRJ, a blatant public sycophantic rod juicing. And Joe just laps it all up, swallowing the praise and plugging it into that hole his bad dad left in his soul.
You're a very important guy.
Here we go.
Everybody loves you.
Finish him
I
off.
got a lot of respect for you.
Talk to me, baby.
There's a level of admiration for you.
Don't stop.
There's true love for you.
Harder.
There's true protection for you.
Too
You
hard.
don't need any protection when it comes up to a street fight.
Perfect.
You know how to fight and take care of yourself.
Feels
my
good.
My weapon is words. And by the way, my book is coming out in December.
And these rod juicings just felt so good.
Is that
They
Patrick
relieved
David?
Joe
I can't. Who
of
is
the
that?
anxiety he was feeling from all that criticism he was getting. And on top of that, all those instances of Joe transforming his fear into rage compounded on each other. And through neuronic muscle memory, his brain began to default to the fear-rage switch innately. And whether Joe meant to do this or not, I don't know, no free will, he actually became a whole new guy.
I've never voted right-wing in my life. I'm very pro-choice. I'm very women's rights, civil rights, gay rights, trans rights. I'm even universal health care. See this thing that Trump's doing with children that were born in other countries and then brought over here as children, and then they're talking about deporting them. That drives me fucking crazy. The hard right version of that is despicable. January 6th thing is important, and one of the reasons why I think it's important because it highlights the reasons why a guy like Donald Trump is so dangerous.
Joe Rogan endorsing Donald Trump.
Joe Rogan just endorsed me. Is that good? Thank you, Joe.
Here we go.
Becoming a new guy is a very effective way of slipping out of the shackles of judgment anxiety. You simply identify a crowd that you want to belong with, and then reconfigure your entire personality in order to fit in with that group.
It's like, you remember when Madonna had a fake English accent and everybody's like, bitch, you're from Brooklyn or wherever the fuck you're from. You are not from England. Like, you can't do that.
They were like
Yes, they all jumped in the back of a U-Haul truck together. There has never been a thing that I've ever seen where almost immediately I was like, those are feds. A thing that I've ever seen. A thing that I've ever seen. A thing that I've ever seen. I mean, look, some people are barely holding on to reality. You're right. Barely. You're right. All they need is one
one.
If you adopt all their beliefs and then convince yourself that they're the only group whose opinion matters, then you never have to worry about being judged and criticized ever again. What a relief. This rap guy, Machine Gun Boy, he too became a new guy recently by employing the new body, new guy technique himself.
I'm in a new body. I literally am in a new body. Like, I covered everything on my arms and my body. I left windows to it, but just like there's windows to my old work, but I'm a new person. So the evolution has like led me from a caterpillar to a butterfly now.
Hold on, that was not how human works.
Transition into a new guy is very difficult, and it takes many years to become fully immersed in the self-delusion. But upon reaching the maximal delusion saturation point, your simulated self becomes more real than your original classical self. And the transition into a new guy is completed. And after years of waffling on the fence, as we enter the year 2025, Joe's transition into this new guy appears to finally be complete. Well done.
You gotta remember, like they were probably messed up. The reason they're doing what they're doing is because something happened to them earlier on. There was an aggressive, teacher, uncle, somebody that just
maybe
kind of
a dad.
A dad who was drunk.
Yep.
There's stuff that pushes them in that direction to be expressive, controlling, and wanting to be acknowledged and do it exactly my way because I was powerless as a child.
And when you said I beat up kids, I beat up other women. Joe Harrison was, when you farted in your house, they knew next door. How could I get away with that?
Yeah, for sure, right? And then that's the thing you see with actors too, and they finally get some success, and then finally you're the man. Like, oh, look, it's Mike. Your bagel's ready, Mike, and your trailer's ready. And then Mike is, get me a fucking coffee. Like, oh, Mike, anything for you. And people act in this disproportionate, very insane way. You know what I'm suffering? Jamie, this coffee sucks. Water. I don't know what happened, but you made it like almost, it's literally like almost like water. Can we get some more? We're going to talk about this. This is the worst coffee I've ever had.
Sorry. The exponential here, by the way, is, OpenAI or whoever makes the next model.
Jamie, this is still super watered down.
It just have to
I did.
I just put the water in.
I'm telling you, dog.
There's a ton of coffee.
Get me a coffee.
Set of stable materials.
Coffee's terrible. I'll just tell you right now. Jamie, this is terrible for coffee, though. You like this is fucking terrible.
Cold one.
Oh, he looks like
it's terrible.
Sorry. And it really makes you wonder, like, how many times has Joe done this? How many new guys has he transformed into over the years in order to avoid actually facing the dad hole head on? And who is the real Joe Rogan underneath all of those guys? And do the old guys still exist somewhere? Or do they float away to die in some astral plane? Oh, or maybe one of those other branches of the multiverse. I don't know, but it's all very friggin' cerebral. So just a quick recap, we're exploring how did comedy get so shit? And surely you know the end of this shit cycle is coming any day now. You're all aware of the ever-growing industry of guys pointing out how shit the ship era is. People are catching on, guys. Don't wait for the rest of the rats to start jumping off the Rogan shit ship. Be that rat yourself and fucking jump already. It's time to leave Daddy's house. I mean, would you rather be at the forefront of the great post-Rogan comedy rebuild? Or would you prefer to face a jury of your peers at Comedy Nuremberg? Sorry. Anyway, so King Joe became a new guy. It's fucking insane.
Fucking hell. At Comedy Nuremberg. Jesus fuck.
This new guy he's become has allowed him to make a massive power grab.
Don't forget Sundar Pichai, just right there. Like, and Nicole Shanahan's around here somewhere.
Within the U.S. government, cementing his position in the establishment. He's the comedy czar. And I
fucking piece of shit.
I honestly can't even tell if he's aware of the fact that he's become the unofficial podcast of the U.S. government. He's got a direct line to the president.
Well, we definitely hate it in Canada right now.
Oh, yes.
The hockey games kick Canada's ass. Sorry, Canada. In Canada.
Excuse me?
It's not good, because that's
Fuck
their
you, man.
sport.
Oh, really, dude?
Shit. All right, sorry. What were we talking about?
The talk about turning Canada into a 51st state.
Oh, yeah.
He's serious. He told me on the phone he was serious.
Yeah. Well, first I was joking around, but then I was thinking maybe it's not a bad idea.
So funny.
He's become comedy goebbels.
It's not funny.
Goebbels.
It's
Just
insane.
kidding. But if you think that's slanderous, you must have missed Joe's best friend's announcement that comedy is legal now.
The
sort of the
Yay.
left wanted to make comedy illegal, you know? Like, you can't make fun of anything. So then it's like, comedy sucks.
Take off your
It's
glasses,
like,
you
nothing's
fucking
funny.
drug
You can't make fun of
addict.
anything. It's like, legalize comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Legalize comedy.
But now it's 2025, and Joe's the only guy on Earth still ranting and raving about the pandemic. Wants his bread and butter. And,
Why are you just accepting this? Because it's a noble thing.
addicted to something that pissed him off like 4 years ago. Addicted to the whining. He looks for stuff to whine about like a pathetic cigarette junkie, scouring the sidewalk for butt remnants to smoke, because that's all that's available. And you gotta take what you can get.
If that Tim Walz sucker, if that guy got into power, that weirdo who puts tampons in the boys' room and
So this new guy experiment is fucking insane, but it
Fucking
actually
piece of
kind of worked
shit.
out for Joe. But Joe wasn't gonna stop there. I mean, say what you want about Joe, but this guy can overcommit to stuff at a pathological level. Becoming a new guy was not enough. Though more secure in his delusion than ever before, the flimsy tent poles holding up the belief in this new guy were always threatened by critics and like just regular normal people calling him stupid and stuff. So it was still kind of stressful. Now Joe is putting in efforts to normalize the whole concept of becoming a new guy in order to legitimize his own transition. And now Joe has gifted the world a brand new blueprint to copy. It's the new guy blueprint. And guys are already getting into it. We just saw Mark Zuckerberg show up to the Shipcast to unveil his new guy.
we're also lucky that you got into jiu-jitsu because I think you
Fuck
look
him.
different. When you walked in here today, you look thicker. You look like a different guy.
It just it just turned on like a part of my brain that I was like this was a piece of the puzzle that should have been there, and I'm glad it now is.
Now Mark maybe wasn't quite ready to unveil the new guy, but you know, sometimes we get a little bit too excited about our new guy, and we unveil them before they're really ready.
I like racing, and I feel like all these activities, grilling
Sweet
meats,
meats.
racing cars, are probably.
I love how he tried to show like he had like a small backyard, and it's like, no, dude, come on, we like this isn't even. This is like a small side patio.
Two of the most fun things that you can do.
Oh yeah, hunting too.
Yeah, same kind of thing. You've done a lot of that as well.
Yeah, well, my favorite is bow and arrow.
Joe's already dubious. He's worried that Mark is going to bungle the new guy unveiling here and undo all the hard work Joe's put into normalizing new guy transitioning. But at the same time, Joe the gatekeeper can't help but become activated to
Joe the
defend the holy
gatekeeper.
hobby of hunting.
I mean, that's I think like the most. That feels like the most kind of sporting.
What kind of bow do you have?
Gosh,
Whoopsie.
Do you know the company that makes it?
not off the top of my head.
Oh, that's bad.
No.
Yeah, no, this is
Oh,
embarrassing.
Yeah.
This is embarrassing.
But Joe was enthused to see someone else try and follow his path.
I saw your neck. I'm like, his neck's bigger. Your neck is bigger.
Good.
Are you using iron neck? Or
Sorry, I got to cut it off before he goes into infomercial mode again. So Mark got Joe's support for his new guy, but Mr. Schaub, yeah, he wasn't buying it. Brendan saw right through Mark's new guy transition and refused to recognize it.
You had Zuckerberg on, and he goes, I hunt.
Oh, no.
I went like this, yes.
Joe's not having it and jumps in to defend Mark and his new guy.
Do you?
No,
What kind of bow do you use?
I think he did.
I
He
think-
just forgot his bow.
Oh,
he
you're
forgot
full
the
of
name of his bow.
Zuckerberg 2.0, and I love it.
And of course, Brian defends the new guy
both
transition
of
as
them.
well to appease his lord. It's all kind of coming together for Joe, I guess. All these guys are becoming new guys all over the place, using Joe's blueprint as a guide. Back before he completed his transition, Joe was dreaming about all of this happening. And since he knows how difficult it can be navigating society as a new guy and all the criticism you get for transitioning, he started envisioning a new world for all the new guys to go. And he checked his bank account, and there was like $1 billion in there from his work with Big Pharma. And so Joe thought, well, what if I create a special place for anyone that wants to be a new guy? And we'll all be new guys, and we'll support each other's guys. And if we come together and bind all of our new guy copes together, we'll be stronger in our belief. And if a guy can become any kind of guy he wants anytime, then maybe reality itself can be changed just the same. And then nobody can break the delusion, and we'll finally be able to relax forever. And reality can be whatever we want it to be. And there's only one place where we can do it.
Jesus. Fuck. Oh my god. Fuck. damn. Okay, that was... God, that... The whole thing was a slow burn. But fuck me if he didn't nail that at the end. Like, holy shit. Okay. This is the end of tonight's stream. Very uneventful. Low numbers and everything. Anyone that popped in, I appreciate it. I'm going to upload that section of the video because I didn't hit record in the second half. I fucked that up. I don't know why I recorded the first half. I don't upload it. But I'll re-record the second half. I'll just rip it off the stream. I'll upload that, and I'm probably going to title it like something like "Fuck Joe Rogan," or "Forget about Joe Rogan." I don't, whatever YouTube will let me get away with, and that might be the last YouTube direct upload, because if I can simulcast between these three, well, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Hell yeah. It's managing all the chats. That's a bit of a headache, but I have ways of working around that. Maybe I'll figure it out. Either way, thank you everyone that did show up or drop in, including that one random fucking bot. And I'll be around. I'll be in the Discord. I will talk to you all soon. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday. I'll figure it out. I'll see you soon. If you had a good time, like and subscribe.